Survey of business plan presentations. Let's look at the different types of business plans that we can do. I want to have a disclaimer right at the beginning. For this class, you're not expected to write a traditional business plan. So you may have heard that you need to write a traditional business plan to get a bank loan, or you may have heard many different stories of what a business plan is. We are not going to do the traditional business plan. If you look ahead in the assignments, you'll see that on Module 5 is a one-page business plan. Here it is. Assignment 5 is your one-page business plan. This is what we're going to be doing for your assignment. It's not your final assignment, but it is the business plan. And it describes what you're going to sell, where you're going to sell it, how much you're going to sell it for, how many units do you have to sell to break even, are you going to create a business structure, are you going to form an LLC or S Corp or C Corp, who are the owners, etc. Okay? That's what expected. It's not the traditional business plan. But let's go over and talk about the different ways people can present their business strategy. The traditional business plan is required for most small business administration loans. If you're getting a loan from the federal government or from a bank, you're going to need a traditional business plan. It is also required if some investors might want to see a longer form business plan, and some people may ask for it. It's traditionally covers 4 main areas. What is the product? Who is the management? And what is the organizational plan? How is the business set up? What is the marketing plan? That includes what product you have, where you're going to sell it, who are the customers, and then finally the financials. So those are the main parts of it, and it could be between 30 and maybe 50 pages, and it's what is the traditional business plan. Again, this is not what we're doing, but sometimes it's required. So there's a couple links here. There's the SBA that funds many of the types of businesses that are out there. They actually have a tool where you can build your business plan online, which is great because if the SBA requires it, you should probably be using the template that they're providing to you to write your business plan. So these are just for you to review. Okay. Another good way to look at business plans is there's a couple websites that have a bunch of business plans out there, and they have this one, bplans.com, has 500 free sample plans for you to review. So it's a great thing for you to just look over what our actual business plans look like. You can also go to your library. They traditionally have some business plans books that show examples. So if you go to the librarian and ask, hey, is there a collection of business plans? There are different publishers that provide those. Let's go to a different type of planning. So this is still planning, but it's not the traditional planning. It's called lean planning. And what is that? There's a video that describes it, and you can click on that and watch it later on. But to give an overview of it, it's just a 4-step simple process of plan, do, check, and adjust. Okay? And then it repeats. And so for lean planning is what resources do you have right now? If you had a bottle of Windex and a rag, you can start washing windows. Okay? So for example, if you wanted to start a business and these are the only resources you have, what do you do to quickly grow your business? You might say to your parents or your neighbors, hey, do you want me to wash your windows? And they say, okay, how much are you going to charge? And you're like, I don't know, $20. So you start with what you have. You start small. You do act quickly. You go and talk to your customer and you set up your arrangement, your contract, and then you actually do it. And you check and analyze of how it goes, and then you adjust, correct, and start over. So for example, if you start doing windows for your neighbor and you say $20, but then you realize that with just a rag and Windex, it takes you like 4 hours to do, right? And you use up the whole bottle of Windex, then you realize that, hey, maybe I didn't charge enough money, right? And the person's really happy because it's a really good job, and they also got it for $20. So you might adjust and correct and start over, and the next person you do when you do a plan is you might go buy a bucket, you might get a squeegee, and you might talk to your neighbor and you say, I want to charge $60. And you would do it again and say, okay, I made some adjustments and I increased my business and I went over. And you will do this over and over and over again until you grow your business. So this is a strategy of planning that is a lot easier to do. And I typically suggest this for most small businesses, especially if you're just employing yourself as a freelancer or a contractor. This is a good way to start. And there's a great video here that goes into more detail. The lean planning also includes the business model canvas, and we'll be using this in Module 2 and helping you define your business model. And so I'll go into that a little bit more detail next session, the next module. But it's just a roadmap that shows how your business makes money. Okay, and that's what the planning process of going through the business model canvas is looking all the different ways you can possibly make money. So you might come up with lots of different ways to make money, and the planning process is, I'm going to choose this way because it's what I can actually do and accomplish. So it's a process of planning using this tool called the business model canvas. Another way of presenting your business plan is a slide deck. A slide deck is a visual presentation of your plan. And there's a video here from Guy Kawasaki where he talks about that. But it's usually a little bit longer version of a business pitch. And it can last 10 to 15 minutes. And it usually just talks about all the things that are an investor might be interested in learning to briefly understand what your business is all about, so they can decide if they want to help you or not. So typically a slide deck is used to pitch to an investor in a short amount of time and give them a lot of information within 10 or 15 minutes, but not every single detail, because that would be more of a long form traditional business plan. This is more like, this is my concept. So many of you have seen this type of slide deck presented on in some of your other business classes. In Guy Kawasaki, he recommends that there's only 10 slides. It's 20 minutes or shorter, and everything be written in 30-point type. So this is a good way to have some rules about how you create a slide deck. And these are 10 slides, and these would be all the things that you would talk about in your business presentation. What is the problem in the market? How are you going to solve that? How do you create a business model out of that to make money? Is there anything that you do that is special that only you or your team can do? What is your marketing sales strategy? Who are the other companies out there that might do something similar to you? Who's on your team? What do you project to make? Where are you at in the business? And then finally, what do you want from the investors? So that would be a presentation, under 20 minutes, 10 slides. Okay, and I believe this is the last two. There's the one-page plan, which we're going to do in assignment 5. And the elevator pitch, which is what you're going to do you're going to do an extended version of the elevator pitch in Module 6. So in this example, if you watch the video, it's about 30 seconds. For this pitch, our entrepreneur pitch that we're going to do for Module 6 is about 2 minutes. Give a little bit more information than an elevator pitch. So watch the video in there, and that would be helpful. So the main question that you might walk away is, which format should I use? Yes, in this course, you're going to be doing the one-page business plan, and you're going to be doing an elevator or entrepreneur pitch. But what should I do if I'm actually creating a business plan, right? If I'm creating a business, what plan format should I use? And the answer to that is, you would use the format of the presentation that your audience will best receive the message. So if the SBA says they want a traditional business plan, use the traditional business plan. If an investor says, I just want a 10-minute pitch, do a 10-minute pitch, right? If it's just you proving to yourself that you need to be successful, use the format that you're going to be successful at. What do you need in order to keep moving along that journey? Okay. The next section, we will discuss priority goals and actions.